Welcome everybody to Ventana Wildlife Society's Condor Chat, the last Thursday of the month. We hope you can tune in next month and well into the future. We will plan to continue to do these indefinitely. And it's really our pleasure to connect with all of you and share with you the latest from the field. Today, we have some bad news, but I think overall, more good news than bad. I'll let Joe and the rest of the team share the details of that. One of the things that we like to do here at Ventana Wildlife Society is check around the world what kind of wildlife conservation projects are occurring. And I'd love to share positive news. I don't know if you saw recently, but the white-tailed sea eagle is nesting in Belgium again, first time in 500 years. I thought was a pretty amazing story. And the Iberian lynx, which of course is found in Spain and was that Spain and Italy? I might have that wrong, but anyway, the Iberian Peninsula, the Iberian lynx was nearly decimated, and just recently an article came out, and they're numbering in the low thousands now, so they're making a nice comeback. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to share those stories. We're not the only ones, of course, doing this work. Rewilding or restoring animals back to nature, thankfully, is becoming more and more common and successful, and it's just great to see these efforts all around the world. And thank you for correcting me. Yes, Spain and Portugal, of course, is the Iberian Peninsula. So anyway, enough of that. Let's turn it over to Joe Burnett and the rest of the team.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, that is pretty exciting. Let's see, stellar seagulls spreading out. Yeah, we got a full agenda today. Of course, we're going to try and squeeze it all in an hour. So yeah, it's always a little challenging, but yeah, I'm going to give you guys an update on the how the rebuild's going in Big Sur. Mike is going to give us a non-lead update. We're going to start making that a routine thing. A lot of interest in what he's got going on, and obviously such an important program, our non-lead program. So look forward to hearing from Mike about that. We have some exciting news about Oakland Zoo and SPCA, both kind of on the HPAI front. We'll also have an update on the population, of course. We do have some sad news. We got some in memoriams. And then, of course, we have some updates on the vaccination status of the HPAI vaccinations. We're making some progress there. Evan provided another one of his awesome movement maps, which we're going to go over. Really exciting movement by a bird we saw this past month. And of course, Darren and Danae are going to tackle the 2024 nesting. It's a busy year. So a lot of exciting developments on that front. So without further ado, that leads right into the crew. Yeah, today we have, I mentioned it, we got Mike Stake here. Give us a shout, Mike. And
you got me
Mike,
you got me near the top of the list there.
I know you kind of
working my way up here.
Buddy.
Thank you for that.
Hey, we got right below you, we got your partner in crime there, Derek Whitmer.
Yep.
So he can't be with us today, but he's doing some awesome stuff. And Mike's going to probably talk about that a little bit. And then, of course, we have our stellar condor biologist. Today we have Darren and Danae with us. Kara's not here, but she will be talked about a lot. She and all of us, we were busy this month getting stuff done. She's pictured there on the left. We're going to have a little update on a nest cam. And the picture on the right, I think, is they didn't know I took this photo, but it was morning before a trap up. And there's a lot of paperwork these days with all the different vaccines and blood draws and transmitters. And Darren, Danae, and Kara keep track of the madness, and I can't thank them enough. So I am supported by some very smart people, thankfully.
Hey, is that Starbucks by chance?
Yeah, it is. Hey, don't be giving Starbucks a plug.
I thought I recognized that.
Yeah. It's a good staging point. That's where we meet up with everybody before we head down the coast. That's where we met up with Oakland Zoo. We got help from Oakland Zoo this We're going to talk more about that. Also, we have a student researcher that's helping us, Valerie Ring. And of course, we mentioned GIS, our GIS specialist, Evan. We're going to gotta get him back here for one of our Condor chats. He keeps kind of sneaking out on those. Gonna get old Evan back. And of course, database designer and our volunteer, Tim Huntington, and awesome photographer, of course. Everyone enjoys his photos. And of course, veterinarian advisor, Amy Wells, Dr. Amy Wells has been very active with us. She's been going into some nested Pinnacles and helping us with vaccinations. And of course, all of our awesome volunteers. And they've been just doing so much this past month, they've just been everywhere helping out. So tracking birds on the coast and everything. So yeah, takes a village. So thank you, everyone. I get to work with some awesome folks. So Big Sur Rebuild update, really exciting this month. This is something we've been wanting to do for quite a while, get our water system back up in order. Yeah, these are two 5,000-gallon water tanks. We now have 10,000 gallons of water in place at our Big Sur site, which for those who don't know, we lost it to a fire in 2020. So this is nice to have our water system up and running again. And here's just a few photos of the process. It is quite a process, getting these tanks in this terrain, Big Sur terrain. Everything's really steep, and you know, just trenching this line alone was kind of a task. And thankfully we had the help of Blacktail Engineering. Big thank you to them. They donated I believe half the cost of the job, so big thanks to them. And now we have our water system in place. And the nice part about having water is you can have a fire hydrant with a nice fire hose. And it's nice to know we have water in place now. We are in fire season right now, so really excited to have this. This is a key step in our rebuild. It's probably the most important step, as much as the cabin itself. And so yeah, to have our ample water, both tanks are full, and I fired up that hose the other day and it almost blew me over. So it's pretty exciting to have that ability to protect the cabin now and protect ourselves in worst case scenario. All right, Mike, moving on to non-lead. Give us an update, buddy. It's been a little while.
Well, thanks. It's great to spend a few minutes with you. I'd like to share 3 slides with you as sort of a form of update. Many are interested in what we actually do for our non-lead outreach, and I can sum it up really with 3 different strategies that we have for conducting non-lead outreach. Most of you are familiar with our free non-lead ammunition giveaway, and we are doing drawings now. We've actually expanded so much, and looking at the Condor maps with Evan, we've seen that the Condors have shifted a little bit in their distribution, and so we've had to open up our eligibility to new counties. And so we have a high demand, and with that high demand, we have had to go to drawings here since early in the year. And basically, they enter the drawing online at that website that you see on the left-hand circle, and they will eventually provide their documentation, what their ammunition preference is, and then we will do all of the paperwork, the DOJ approval, and we will get the ammunition, and we will actually deliver it for them or arrange a pickup in our Monterey office. And so once a month, we'll draw names from that, as many as we can, and then I'll take to the road at least twice a month and go to different places delivering ammunition. And as that drawing has grown, we've wanted to make sure that we don't spend too much time on that. We want to make sure that we have enough resources to cover the other 2 strategies that you see in the center and on the right-hand side. We have Rimfire Roundup, another website. You can check that out, www.rimfireroundup.com. And that website is designed to connect the hunters with the local stores that have their products in stock. And we're talking about these smaller caliber things that ranchers might use, like 22 long rifle and 17 HMR. They're so hard to find these days, and hunters are having a difficult time accessing that ammunition. Once they do arrive in a store, it's hard to tell which of the products are non-lead. There's just this confusing array of products behind the shelf, and you need to have really good eyesight to read those boxes and see that they're non-lead. And so this website is designed to first identify the products that are non-lead, show them what they look like, and then also connect them with stores both here in California and even outside of California, where they might have that product in stock at that very moment. And so we are working on updating the inventory for those local stores, connecting with the store owners, and just getting an inventory from week to week on what is available. And then we also have the opportunity of working with those store owners to host events where we provide non-lead ammunition and the store can sell it to their customers at a discounted rate. So we win, the Condors win for getting more non-lead ammunition out there. The stores win by driving revenue through their doors. And I might add that all of the ammunition that we purchase and distribute to hunters and ranchers are provided through grants and private donors, and they're not coming from our membership fund unless our members specifically indicate that they want that donation going towards the ammunition. And so it's really grants that Kelly, Joe, and I, to some extent, work very hard at trying to procure. And then we have different pots of money that are designed to purchase the non-lead ammunition and also pay for my time, pay for Derek's time, and the cost of actually doing the paperwork and transporting that ammo to the hunters. We'd like to ramp up the Rimfire Roundup. It's running right now on a pretty minimal basis, and we have a grant right now under review to try to get more funds to hire someone to help out with Rimfire Roundup. So we hope to boost that effort. But right now we're running it as basically a startup, and it works, but we want to expand it and make it more useful to the local hunters. But we want to do all that without taking resources away from this third strategy, which is ranch gate rewards. And that is simply rewarding the ranchers who are providing the resources for the condors. They're keeping the land from being developed. They're providing water sources and oftentimes food. Oftentimes they're shooting ground squirrels or other non-game mammals on their ranches, and the condors are scavenging those carcasses. But we want to make sure that those carcasses don't have lead. And so I will meet once a month with Evan. We'll go over the maps. We have a good time doing that. And we'll talk about this strategy of who should we prioritize for outreach based on where the condors are feeding. And so that's a fun effort that we're involving Derek in with his ranching connections locally to use the GPS to prioritize where the limited supply of non-lead ammunition is distributed. Let's go to the next slide and see some results here. It's always fun to see how much ammunition we've distributed. And we are up to 871 boxes of non-lead ammunition distributed so far this year. So that's about a half year's total. Our strategic goal is a little bit higher than that, but we can only give away what we're able to get ourselves on the market. And you notice I've delineated centerfire and rimfire. You can think of that simply as the centerfire being those larger calibers that a hunter might use during hunting. for deer or even pig. And the rimfire is the small caliber ammunition that the ranchers might use for shooting ground squirrels and other small mammals. So we only give one box per person of the hunting calibers, the center fire. So that 231 is a pretty good estimation of how many hunters we've met face to face so far in 2024. We like to meet at least one hunter each calendar day. And so we're right about where we need to be. But I will stress that it's not so much about the numbers. I'm not so worried about that minus 148 from last year. We want to make sure that the ammunition that we have available is going to the people that can make the greatest impact on the condors. And so that's where we have the most chance of doing good for condors. And that's what I want to focus on, that rancher rewards. We'll run the drawing and we'll run the rimfire roundup. And we have grants that are in place that can really expand all of these strategies. But right now we want to make sure we get the ranch folks first and continue on with the drawing and move on from there. And this is a typical map that Evan and I might look at it at the beginning of the month. And this is actually a new area where the condors have sort of shifted. And it's sort of taken me a little bit by surprise, where the red dots are the areas where condors seem to be feeding on the ground. And the purple stars are the places where we have delivered ammunition. And I don't like the way this map looks, to be frank with you. It looks like one of those war scenarios where we got one front meeting the other. And I really need to see more of those purple stars mixed in with the red dots there. We need to get more ammo on those rural ranches. This is a relatively new area of interest for us. We're doing better a little further south, but we really need to start prioritizing those land holdings to the east. So where we see more mixture of the purple with the red and not so much of a standoff. And to that end, we are collecting addresses for those parcels, contact information. And so we will contact those landowners first with a mailing, and then hopefully with more personal contact to tell them about our program and hopefully get them on board with trying some non-lead ammunition. But it's a process. And for this particular area, it's a little bit early in the process. We need to do some work there, but that's sort of the idea of what we're looking at with our non-lead outreach, really working on increasing that rancher contact. And I hope in future updates that we can show more progress on the ranchers working with our program. We are seeing great numbers of rimfire distribution, but it is very important getting that ammunition in the right places and getting it where the condors are feeding. Hopefully, in time, we'll see lower exposure of lead poisoning. Joe, I'll let you take it from here.
Actually,
Yeah.
guys, let me jump in just briefly, because I think a lot of our viewers, as we noted earlier, are from out of state. They're out of California. And I just wanted to emphasize that ever since 2019, California enacted a new law called the Safety for All Act, and it requires face-to-face transactions for transferring ammunition. And that is extremely significant because non-lead ammunition is very difficult to find nationally. It's a very small sliver of the market share. You look at all ammunition manufacturing, unfortunately, non-lead is still a very, very small piece of that pie. And so when California restricted ammunition sales to face-to-face, it literally restricts the availability of non-lead ammunition to whatever local store is nearby. And some of these rural ranches that we're working with might be 50 miles away from their nearest store. And if you look at rimfire roundup that Mike pointed out earlier, and just kind of glance to see, how many stores have the ammunition and how many don't. It's unfortunate, but most of the time, the availability for those products are very poor. And one store might have it one week. Maybe they get another shipment in a few weeks later, but it's not that dependable. And that's the reason why it's so important that we track the availability and facilitate the transfer of non-lead ammunition to the people who can make the biggest difference on the ground. And so anyway, I just wanted to emphasize that it's not like everywhere else where you can buy non-lead ammunition online and have it shipped to your home. It just doesn't work that way in California anymore. And I think as a result, we've actually seen an increase in lead poisoning ever since. So it's a big concern, and we're trying to address it in these various ways. Anyway.
And yeah, thank you, Kelly. And Crystal in the chat has mentioned with maybe some nostalgia that back in the 70s, you could buy ammo without much problem. She mentioned Colorado. And really, we've seen a spike in demand for ammunition since COVID in 2020, and also a huge demand in firearms after COVID, which really depleted the shelves of ammunition. So it's hard to get in California, and it's pretty much equally hard to find in the stores as well outside of California. But as Kelly mentioned, outside of California, you have the internet where you can have products shipped to you. But in California, you're really relying on those local stores. And we're catching up now on the availability in the local stores. We need to get to a better place with more stock on the shelves.
Yeah, pretty challenging for sure, but good thing you're doing this work, Mike. So great update. Thanks for that. I think it's we've definitely had a lot of interest in what you're doing. So yeah, I think that gives people a lot of insight to what the challenges we have here. So some exciting news. We've had 2 pens at SPCA we've been reserving for Oakland Zoo for use as quarantine pens. Again, we collaborate very closely with Oakland. They treat a lot of our birds, whether it's lead poisoning. Now they're going to be participating and helping us with HPAI. So we were able to go up, Darren and I were able to go up with Meredith and deliver the pens to them finally. And they just had their concrete pads poured and said, bring them on up. So we headed up on a flatbed trailer and loaded them up and brought them up and even helped them assemble them. So yeah, I think we're excited to have this expansion, this added ability to treat birds. And it's again, shows you how important collaboration is with what we're doing. That whole "it takes a village" mantra we keep saying, but it really is true. And Oakland Zoo has been an incredible partner, and I think it's captured best right here with this video that Meredith put together. And I got to make sure I optimize video clip right before I play it. Is that the all right, everybody ready? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alex Herman, Vice President of Veterinary Services for the Oakland Zoo. And this is a big day for us and for all the condors that we serve with our partners here in Northern California. We're building separate caging so that we can treat more condors for lead toxicity and also really pivot to meet the need if we do have an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza here in California, just like the one that hit the Arizona flock last year. So happy day, a lot of great work going on with Ventana, Wildlife Society, and the Oakland Zoo. Just really optimistic that we can increase our capacity to help condors in the state of California.
Flood, any words?
It's happening, finally. Real happy about it. Looks great so far.
Now, in collaboration with Oakland Zoo, our partners Fish and Wildlife, obviously SPCA, we're now set up to further treat birds for HPAI and lead poisoning. So big thanks to all of our partners, supporters that have supported us throughout. Yeah, we're looking forward to putting these pens to use. All right, we're back. Thank you, Meredith. That was a great video. She was filming and helping while being Darren and Oakland Zoo folks were putting them together. I didn't realize we built them so quick. Did you see how fast we did that, Darren? I mean, they zipped up like I wish they went that fast, but yeah, it was a really successful day. And yeah, Darren, I saw you unmute there. You can pipe in. Yeah, how did you think that all went?
Yeah, I mean, it went smooth. I was just gonna say that, yeah, I mean, we're just really impressive that we can put them together that quickly. But no, it went awesome. I mean, yeah, kind of like Greg said in the video, one of the like top guys at Oakland Zoo who's helping us put them together. Like, they've been waiting for a while. We've been waiting for a while to get them up there and make this happen. So yeah, it's nice to like see it all come together and just like really satisfying that everything really just like happened so quick.
Yeah, it clicked, huh? It was meant to be. You kind of felt like that. It was cool. We just felt that it was just really good momentum when we got up there. Everybody was just really positive, and yeah, it was pretty exciting to see it all come together. And their maintenance crew came in, and it was amazing how fast we were able to get those things up. And yeah, and that's good for the Condors. So that's the best part of it all. And on that same token, we've been talking about expanding the pens at SPCA, which we did successfully this month. And again, here's some shots. We added 4 new pens to our SPCA pen setup. We had 4 already built, so we built 4 more. That was the original plan. And yeah, it went really well. Crew, here's Darren and Kara and Danae. We were able to get these done. I think we learned from the first 4 we built, and then building the ones up at Oakland. We've become pros at setting these pens up. So yeah, big kudos to the crew and our volunteers that came out to help, and staff, VWS staff came out and helped. Derek and Kelly were out there and helping us build the floors for them. And yeah, it was really cool to get everybody. It's always nice to get everybody together and get team building. And yeah, it gets us all kind of focused on the same front. And we added a new water tank system. Big thanks to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They purchased some much needed items for us that we need to support the SPCA quarantine pens. And this was one of the big ones. We needed a water source. There is no water at the site, so we have to bring it in. And they purchased this tank and a pump for us. And we have a portable water transport. We go fill up our water in the truck and bring it on over and fill it up, and then we can get water to all the birds. So now we have ample amount of water. Just makes the operational side of things good for taking care of the birds and cleaning out pens. And yeah, so big thank you to Fish and Wildlife Service. All right, Central California population. Now we're getting into the flock here and how the population's doing. We're at 99. That number did drop by 1. We had a bird go missing a year ago. As you can see, we typically have 3 missing, or 4 missing down at the bottom there. But one of the birds is now been missing over a year. So after a year, we basically consider that bird a bird death. Cause of death will be unknown. Bird went missing in the wild. We never did recover this bird. We looked for it for months, and that bird never turned up. And we'll get into more in that here in a little bit. Yeah, in 2024, we're at chicks in the nest. We're at 10. We were at 11 last month, and again, we're going to give more updates on that. We have 4 chicks in Big Sur and for VWS, and 6 over at Pinnacles, managed by Pinnacles National Park. We did get news that our 2024 release group will actually be 12 this year. We will release 6 down in San Simeon. Pinnacles will release 6 over at Pinnacles National Park, and they're due to arrive in September. We don't have the exact date yet. We're coordinating with the captive facilities, trying to coordinate that transfer, but that's the next big, going to be the next big exciting development for us. Next big step, getting that next release batch out here. And that will also time with the arrival of our new interns for San Simeon. The crew is right now in the middle of interviews for that, actually, and we hope to have them here in August before those birds arrive and let them get settled in before we get those birds in the pen down there at the release pen. Condor deaths for 2024, that the bird that went missing will be considered a 2023 death. So that death will be added to the 2023 tally. So for now, for 2024, we don't have any deaths of free flying birds. When we still have the 3 missing birds from last year, 171, 477, and 937. And unfortunately, it looks like those birds will basically, we're always looking for them, but at this point, it looks like they will not, that they had died out in the wild. This is the bird I was talking about that's been missing. Yeah, Darren, Danae, please jump in. Always sad to lose a bird. This was a bird released at San Simeon and was doing great. We just still don't know what happened. But yeah, Darren, please pipe in.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, this madrone was released from San Simeon in, I think it was November 2022. And yeah, it just sucks to lose her because like she was one of these San Simeon release birds who like did some really cool flights, like right off the bat, like just was traveling around really mobile, and really like integrated with the flock quickly. So yeah, to lose her so soon after release is a real bummer. It really sucks. But yeah, I mean, we searched exhaustively for her, like through tracking. We tracked throughout the range. I mean, with the help from Pinnacles National Park, with our volunteers tracking the coast constantly. Just have been trying all we can the past year, and especially when she initially went missing, we had flights go up for her too to try to locate her, and we were even relying on some of our like local resources in Big Sur who may have seen her recently to just asking them if they had seen her around, and yeah, just really looking for any information or any sign of her that we could, but yeah, never did find her.
Yeah, so she'll be missed. And yeah, she did get some valuable time out in the wild, but yeah, unfortunately we'll never know what ended up getting her, but yeah, she won't be forgotten, that's for sure. And then the biggest news, this happened last weekend. As everyone knows, Aurora, we just named her at the last Condor chat. She has been featured on our Condor cam with Redwood Queen and Zenith. On Saturday, unfortunately, we noticed something was wrong, and she hadn't been moved, or he or she hadn't been moving. The chick had not been moving in the nest, or had gone out of view in the nest cavity that morning, and had been out of view since the previous few hours. So we started getting concerned. And then we noticed Zenith come back, and he started picking at the remains of the chick. And that's when we knew the chick had died from an unknown cause. We don't know why that chick died, unfortunately. And yeah, we just know recently with some of our trapping that a lot of birds have been very high in lead. We're going to talk about that more in a little bit. So it could have been related that we do have pairs that, they're bringing back food for their chicks. Sometimes that food can be tainted with lead fragments, just like the lead that poisoned the parents, and that can be passed on to the chicks. So that's one possibility, but again, we really don't know. The cameras did not catch it. The cam did not catch anything unusual. The day before, the chick appeared normal, maybe a little more lethargic than usual, maybe not as active, but again, it was alert. It wasn't really showing any signs it was ill, no acute signs of clinical signs that it was sick or anything like that. So yeah, it's a little bit, it caught us all by surprise, not only you guys, the folks that are viewing. It definitely was not expected. So again, her memory will live on, or he or she, the chick's memory will live on, Aurora. So yeah, in reality, the pair will nest again next year. They'll have to put it behind them and move on. And yeah, and looking at the overall flock and productivity this year, we still do have 10 chicks in nest in the wild, which is still an incredible year for us. And statistically speaking, when you have 11 chicks, you're going to lose 1 or 2 along the way. we wish they all survived, but that's just not how it goes out in the wild. And yeah, and I think we've had some questions about the behavior of Zenith going back into the nest and picking at the chick. It looks like he actually consumed the chick, and it's pretty normal, among a lot of species, where they'll eat their young, and it's, various reasons researchers have figured out. So it's not just something condors do. It's, it's seen in bear species, it's seen in fish, everything. It's a process that, these animals live in the wild. So it's slightly gruesome, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture going on here of life in the wild. And yeah, and this pair will try again next year, and we hope they're more successful. And again, we'll hopefully have another cam going here pretty soon. But yeah, this was a big loss to the flock, and yeah, we feel everybody's heartache over it. So yeah, Darren, today, you guys want to add anything? Yeah, it hit the crew pretty hard, but we just thank everybody for their support. There were a lot of great comments on the Explorer by the Explorer viewers. Big shout out to them. Yeah, I know that helped the crew big time, and that folks understood. Obviously, they watch a lot of the different wildlife camps on Explorer, and stuff like this happens. And while it's unfortunate, it is, this happens in the wild. And again, we don't manipulate these nests. We let it happen as it's supposed to. And sometimes it doesn't work out. So
would this be a good time to maybe throw a couple of questions your way regarding this?
Let's go ahead, Mike. That's a good call.
Yeah. So I guess one thing to make clear is that there was really no chance of recovering the chick. Is that correct? It's kind of a safety issue getting up into that nest.
Yes. Yeah, we ever since the Dolan fire, that tree, before the Dolan fire, it was borderline. Now it's definitely compromised. We just don't want to risk the weight of a climber going up that tree, triggering that tree to fall over. And it's just, yeah, the risk versus reward is definitely not good for human safety.
Right. And we're really speculating on what may have happened. We really don't know, and I'm not sure that we will know, but there is some concern for the parents if one of the adults consumed the chick, and that chick was sick, would there be a risk to the adult?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's really the most disturbing part about lead poisoning. It just doesn't stop. The lead doesn't disappear. If it's in another animal and that the parent eats the chick that had the lead in it, it will get that lead. And and just the whole cycle. One of the scenarios is Redwood Queen brought back a meal for the chick that had lead. This kills the chick, and then now the male consumes that lead. Now you potentially have two. So we've got this pair at the top of our trap list. Now that they're not nesting, we can get them. They're definitely prioritized for HPAI vaccinations. So it'd also be a good opportunity to check their lead levels, because we are concerned with the sudden, death of this chick, and it could have gotten a big dose of lead that killed it so quickly. So yeah, it's a big concern, and yeah, they're at the top of our list now.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get those birds under the hood. Is bird flu a possibility?
Yeah, it's always a possibility. But based on the fact that the parents are okay, I would say it's probably not. If we saw both the parents die as well and the chick, then we would suspect definitely HPAI, and that obviously would potentially spread to the whole flock, because condors are so social. At feeding areas, they all congregate. So we would see like an outbreak situation. And we can't rule out a predator attack at night. The camera was off at night, and great horned owls are formidable. They can definitely, and this chick really didn't have any protection. If the parents aren't there in the nest with it at night, it is a possibility. So again, we suspect lead because it's our most common cause of mortality in the flock. We can't help but consider that one at the top, but we can't rule out, like we've said, some of these other causes, predator, or even a neighboring pair of condors may have come and attacked the chick. You just never know. Like we saw with the Nico with 729 and Ninja, and this chick would have definitely not been able to defend itself like a Nico could have. So yeah, there's just a lot of scenarios, stuff that happens out in the wild that's, it's just the way nature goes.
Chicks and nests are so vulnerable to so many things, and we just are reminded that that can even happen to a big sturdy bird like a condor as well. So many risks out there, and not all nests will succeed. And just kind of a bitter reminder of that. Are there any other possibilities for viewing nests this season, or is that a wrap for 2024?
No, we actually are hoping to get another cam going up at another redwood nest. We are working closely with Explore to get that one online. We went up yesterday and got everything set up, and it looks like it should be good to go. Again, there's some stuff on Explore side that they need to figure out, but stay tuned. That's all I can say is we're excited. And I actually have a couple slides talking about that here in a bit, but yeah, we're excited to kind of get another cam going.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and I'll let you continue.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, HPAI update, pretty exciting. We've gotten up to 28 of the 100 birds are now vaccinated. Again, our goal is to vaccinate. We're trying to get now to this point. Now that we have 8 pens built, we can now do 8 condors per month. And that's based on that 21-day vaccination cycle. We give them the prime vaccination, then the booster dose. And of course, during nesting season, we're not trapping adults, only the juvies and subadults. And again, like birds like redwood queen and zenith that have stopped nesting, we can now add them to the list. Yeah, and we estimate vaccinating the rein or the flock, based on the progress we're making so far, that hopefully a year, but potentially up to 2 years. Of course, winter things might slow down. But yeah, we're just going to keep moving ahead. And yeah, we're excited, pretty darn excited to be at 28, that we have more than a quarter of the flock vaccinated. And right now we have birds currently in the vaccination cycle, 921, 921, 956, 990, 996, 1011, 1031, which is a Nico. They all got their first vax on June 12th. 957 and 995 we caught just after that. They're on a little bit of a delay. They got vaxxed on June 20th. And as part of that first roundup, we found 2 birds with high lead, 626 and 1006, and they were sent up to Oakland Zoo to get chelation treatment. And once the chelation's wrapped up, 626 was able to get 1 dose. 1006 is still waiting to get his doses. But yeah, anyway, it's the lead, talking about your non-lead work. But yeah, lead again is ever present and has not gone away, and we're still treating birds for it. So we had 626, of course, was worrisome because she's raising a chick in the wild with Ninja 729, and so we're anxious to get her back out. And we have some updates on that front as well. But yeah, again, doing these vaccinations with these lead exposures has been really challenging. It throws a little wrench into your plans. It's not as squeaky clean. It's just bringing birds in and giving them vax and putting them back out. You have a bird that comes in with high lead or showing clinical signs of lead, you got to get it in treatment for that, and then you can vaccinate it. So yeah, it can sometimes have a domino effect. But yeah, here's some photos Danae took. She was up there, had a really successful trapping day. Yeah, maybe you can tell us what you're looking at here, Danae.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that's Anika on the photo on the left. I always have to get a photo of her because she always comes right up to the window. That window there is a one-way glass, so I can see the condors that are in the pen, so I know who I'm trying to trap, but the condors can't see me, so that means that they'll stand on that perch right outside the window and just like pick at the window and look at themselves in the window, and it's pretty entertaining. So both of these photos are from that. So Nico's checking out the carcass there on the left. And then on the right is female Condor 726, who's nesting over at Pinnacles. So we'll talk about her chick a little bit later, but she was coming by for some needed R&R. You can see in that photo, she's looking pretty sleepy, and she took a nice solid nap after gorging on some carcass. So she escaped the trap because she's actively nesting. I was not trying to trap her. So she just got to have some rest and recovery there on the little perch right in front. But I like that photo of her.
Yeah, that's a really challenging thing. What Danae just touched on is when you're trapping like this, is you're really trying to be selective. Like we said, we're not trying to get adults, especially nesting birds. If we do get a bird in the trap, we try to let it back out. But yeah, it makes it a little trickier versus when you're just trying to trap all the birds. The nesting nuance has definitely made it a little trickier, when you say, Danae.
Yeah, I would say 650 in particular is definitely probably the trap happiest adult bird out of all. He was always in the trap, and so I had to close him in there a few times and just slowly funnel him out. So he never got officially trapped, but he had the door closed on him a few times, and he took it like a champ and just went right back in to keep feeding. So he's a very food motivated bird for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the key things we try to do is we don't want the trap to be a negative thing. So it's kind of a soft capture process. Like these birds do get caught inside this pen, but they actually don't get handled for a couple days after or a day after. It's not immediate. So we're trying to keep this as a user-friendly kind of, it's a pretty key step in what we do. And again, it reduces stress on the birds. It allows us to get all our resources together. So when we do come up to grab the birds, we have all hands on deck, all the equipment we need. It's just really been a really strategic advantage. It's just a win-win all around. It's ideally we get to the day years from now where we don't have to grab up these birds, but obviously the fact that we still do this makes it a lot easier, a lot more manageable. And of course it's what's best for the birds, right? We want to do the least amount of put the least amount of stress on these guys. Yeah, and then we rounded up the birds. We had help from Oakland Zoo. They came down, and again, we had our superstar Nico in the batch, so we had to let everybody know about that. I'm just amazed, and Nico, she is really dominant. I think she is going to definitely be a big hitter in the flock. She is moving on up, and I noticed that she's starting to turn. Her color's starting to turn on her neck, and it's pretty exciting to see her growing up.
Yeah, she was hatched in 2020. So next year, technically, she will be 5 years old, which is, we have, 9.
Crazy, huh?
She was
How fast they
breeding
grow.
this year at 5 years old. So who knows?
Yeah, she might be one of those early nesters. Yeah, and then so it was a big roundup. We had Pinnacles come up, their crew. We were able to get a couple handling stations going. And Oakland Zoo came up, and we're able to veterinarian Dr. Herman was able to come up and deliver the vaccines on site, which was really nice. They were able to get their first dose. It really just kind of greased the wheels, kind of just made things go really smooth. We had just a great group, and everyone just worked really well together. And yeah, it was just a really successful day. Yeah, here's Dr. Herman on the right there, getting ready to give the vaccine. Danae's holding the bird. And then she was doing that, and then I was following up behind her and putting on transmitters. On the left photo there, that's 990. Kara's holding the bird, and we're getting ready to do transmitters, or I might be doing a swab right there, actually. So yeah, we also take HPAI swabs from the birds. These are sent in for testing and tell us whether the birds are actively carrying HPAI. Because there is a chance bird might not be clinical at all and actually have HPAI. So it's just a precautionary thing. And once we know they're negative, then we can move ahead and handle them a little bit differently. We don't have to wear as much PPE. You can see everybody here is masked up, wearing gloves. So it's we basically treat them as HPAI birds until we get that test back saying they're negative. So yeah, really good news on the front of 626, and they both had high lead, but both are recovering well. Yeah, we just got news today that 626 has been given clearance to get back out in the wild, and she'll be released tomorrow by Pinnacles. They're going to go up and pick her up, and we're pretty sure she's going to beeline it right back to her nest site to join Ninja 729. So yeah, it was a little bit scary, but we're just glad to get her back out there. We're pretty confident 729 was probably okay with the chick for that short period. The chick would have been a little bit older. So yeah, we have our hopes up that if she can get back there, that they can, and I know he's probably looking for her to show, he'll be very happy to see her. So they will be a big sigh of relief for him. So yeah, hopefully all is well there. It's a pretty remote nest. And we're doing our best to monitor how well 729's been doing, but it's been a little bit tricky. It's in a really tough spot down in a pretty deep canyon. So we're just hoping for the best there, but the sooner we can get her out, the better the chances are for that nest to make it. And again, we get asked a lot. We always prioritize these pairs and treatment, even if they do have a chick, because the thought is they're so important. They're breeding. If worst case, the nest did fail, they live to fight another day. They live to nest another day. So it's a hard decision to make as a program, but it was program wide agreed that we want to protect these adults, these important adults that are nesting, and hopefully, like a situation like this, we can get them in treatment and out in time to treat their chicks. I mean, to get back to their chicks. So yeah, let's hope this one has a happy ending. All right, who's tackling the movements?
Yeah, I can go for the map here. But also, yeah, Danae, I think you watched 1078 as a chick. So if you have any additional input you want to add in from this, yeah, please feel free. But yeah, so Pinnacles Condor 1078 did this really cool flight this past month over just a couple days and really went into some areas north of the typical Central California range that we just don't see condors get to very frequently. And yeah, it's just really exciting because we've been kind of waiting just for condors to like start making these flights. So hopefully this is the first of more. But yeah, just to kind of explain what happened on June 16th, Condor 1078 started flying north, went through Henry Coast State Park, and then took a turn south and like went past San Jose, and then went right into the Santa Cruz Mountains, which is where we've been hoping condors would make it there for a long time. And then yeah, around that time was getting into nighttime, so she roosted near Bonnie Doon. The very next day, June 17th, she continued north up to Año Nuevo State Park, which we're really excited about. I believe there's an elephant seal colony up there, and just a lot of other cool features of that landscape for condors. But she, didn't spend much time there, kind of turned right back around and started heading south again. And yeah, made it back into the mountains east of Hollister that afternoon, the same day on the 17th. So yeah, really cool flight. Again, just a short amount of time that she did it, but just really exciting to see a condor starting to explore these areas more. And yeah, hopefully we see more of it. And really, like 1078 has been pretty mobile this past month. We see condors flying back and forth from Pinnacles and Big Sur all the time over the Salinas Valley corridor, we call it. But yeah, she's traveled back and forth 5 times this month, which is pretty awesome to see just how mobile she is, and really how like representative of that is, or how representative that is for condors in this flock, just how much they're moving back and forth.
Yeah, another great illustration here by Evan. Yeah, he even highlighted the flight corridors there, which we always talk about when they cruise from Big Sur over to Pinnacles. But down in Nuevo, that's pretty exciting because we had a bird go up there 597 years ago, and came pretty close. But yeah, when you see it on the map here, with that visualization, you realize how close 1078 came. And yeah, that's a potential long-term food source if they can find it and dial in. And again, look at that movement. I mean, that was a course of a couple days. That's really nothing for these condors. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're hoping to see. So pretty exciting. Anything you want to add today? No?
No, yeah, I think you guys pretty much covered it. It is cool if you look at the bottom left there, you can see the string of siblings that 1078 has, and since she fledged, every single year after that, her parents have successfully fledged a chick, and they're currently rearing a chick this year. So she started a trend, and as we can see, 569, 589, they make some good chicks that do some cool things. So I'm excited to see what their next chicks get up to.
Yes, they are productive. Back at you today. Here we go.
All right. I love that you guys always leave the nesting stuff to me. I gotta talk about all the happy things because
Hey, it's all you. We don't try to touch
We're
it.
not gonna
I don't
focus.
try to touch it. That is your domain.
All right, well, thanks. So yeah, Pinnacles still has 6 active nests. We kind of changed up this table a little bit. So we have all the chick stud book numbers there. And I'll dive more into all of them in a little bit. And then we also have the chick ages there on the right. So you can see we have the oldest chick is about 80 days old. We got 2 chicks that are kind of roughly that age. And then a couple chicks around 50, 60 days old. And then the youngest one for Pinnacles around 30 days old. So here are the 6 Pinnacles pairs. So these are kind of listed in order of when they hatched. So 317 and 330 and 868 and 931s believed hatched on the same day. Those chicks are still doing great. I know Pinnacles did a recent nest entry on 868 and 931's nest, and 1275 is looking great. 747 Boeing and 800 are also doing awesome. As well as 569 and 589, who we just talked about. Their chick this year is 1301. They're still doing great. Pinnacles did a nest entry on that nest last week, and that chick is looking very healthy, low lead and everything, which is awesome. The trio, 888, 889, and 913 are still doing well. They're still raising the one egg that did hatch from that nest, 1310, and that chick seems to be doing well. That's the youngest chick, but it seems to be doing well so far. And then lastly, 692 and 726 Little Stinker have chick 1293. I think, as I've mentioned before, I have an extra soft spot for this pair and this chick who is over 50 days old now, but this photo was taken when it was 50 days old during a nest entry that Pinnacles did at the nest. And they went up there with Amy Wells, our vet, and she gave the chick a full health workup. The chick looks great. Everything in terms of body condition looked great. You can see the chick has a little crop in this photo, so it was well fed at time of handling, which is always a good sign. And it's just really cool. This pair has never successfully hatched an egg before. So the fact that they even did that was already incredible, but to see this chick already growing and almost now at 60 days old, so almost 2 months old now, it's just awesome. And I love this photo. You can just see the fire in that chick's eyes. I feel like the will to live there, and awesome news that it's doing really well and is healthy.
Yeah, so folks know this chick's probably about 8 to 10 pounds. And so it's about the size of a turkey, like a small turkey. So it's hard to see the perspective there, but yeah, it's getting big. And this, I guess it was a handful to handle.
Yeah, it sounded like it, which is great.
Yeah, great photo by Alicia. Thanks for sharing, Alicia. All right, next slide.
So yeah, then moving on to the nests that we're monitoring out here on the coast. We have 4 active nests. So we had the trio that had laid an egg. They failed pretty early on. I think we covered that during the last Condor chat, but if not, that nest did fail at the egg stage. So we don't believe that egg ever hatched. Which is pretty common, especially for these first-time nesters. All 3 of those birds were first-time nesters, and 970 is a really young female. She still looks like a juvenile. Her head is still mostly black. So not a total surprise that they failed, and I think they'll probably try again next year. And then we've already talked about 1304, so I'm just going to skip right over the sad stuff and move on to all the happy things. So we have confirmed hatches for the rest of our 4 nests. We're still waiting on stud book numbers for 2 of our nests, but we have confirmed that those nests have hatched just based on GPS activity and some visual observations that we've been able to get. And you can see the chick ages there, but our oldest chick right now is a little over 60 days old, so a little over 2 months, and the youngest is at 40 days, so about a month and a half. Yeah, and then we'll dive into each of these a little bit more. So I'll let Darren chime in because this is his photo, and he went out to check on 962 and 470's nest last week.
Yeah, so yeah, it was great to get out there and just see this nest. It was the first time I got to see a condor in the nest at this time. The cavity is pretty deep. Like when I arrived, 470 got there shortly after I did, and took a few minutes to get in the cavity. And once he got in, I could not see him at all. And so shortly, he was in there for about 15 minutes before he popped up and perched right on the edge of the cavity, which is when I got this photo of him with little fluff on his face. Yeah, he seemed pretty proud of. But yeah, it's just really cool to see this nest, see 470 and 962 like doing so well. I mean, couldn't see the chick again with that cavity being so deep. We just don't think it's quite big enough yet where we can start seeing it out of the cavity. But 470's behavior is pretty indicative that they have an older chick that doesn't need him to be like in there with it all the time. He just kind of went in, fed it seems like, and then popped right back up here to the edge, and was just kind of watching me the rest of the obs as I was watching him. And also what's really cool is just to see 470 like nesting again, because he has quite a history where he was in a trio for a while with 204 and 646 and with 534 I believe before that. And then he was really sick at one point. We thought he almost died from lead poisoning. We had trapped him. He had a really high lead score, and then afterwards, just disappeared and kind of stayed in one spot for a long time. He popped back up and just kind of nursed himself back to health. So just really cool to see him doing this well now and nesting again.
Yeah, another one of these chimney top redwoods.
Yeah.
For folks that have been watching these updates over the years, you see the pattern with these redwoods. They're all these broken top, kind of like form a chimney at the top that the birds nest in. And the condors really love them.
Yeah, we'll see too. You can kind of tell from that photo that 470 is not totally on the edge of the cavity. He's still kind of in the cavity. And so we think there's kind of a little ledge there, just kind of inside the lip of the cavity. So we're hoping if that chick continues to grow and as it gets bigger, it might hop up there and we'll be able to get better looks at it. But until then, like Darren explained, their behavior is really showing us that they have a chick. They're switching out nest duties really often. And they're making these shorter visits to the nest rather than sitting on an egg and incubating for days at a time. So just what's that?
Yeah, great photo, Darren.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks. 470 did all the work. He was making all the right poses.
So I'll quickly go through the rest of these. 626 and 729 we kind of talked about a bit. So we have not gotten a visual documentation of that chick, but again, based on behavior, we feel really confident that they have a chick, which is why we've confirmed it. And hopefully with 626 back out there tomorrow, ideally Pinnacles will be able to put another GPS on her because she's been stealth for a while. So having that GPS will just give us another extra monitoring tool to monitor that nest. And then same thing with like 209 Shadow and 881 Minerva. That nest is super crazy remote. Kara and I went out a while ago to try to even see where the nest was, and we could get a signal for 209 when he was out there, but it's super remote backcountry area that we just can't feasibly get to as humans. But it's great for condors, which is awesome. So we've been monitoring that nest with 881's GPS, and she definitely, I just checked it today, and pretty much every single day she's going between our feeding site and Big Sur and straight out to the nest. So that's awesome. She's giving lots of lead-free food to that chick. And we're still waiting on the stud book for that chick as well. And then the last one is 550 and 652 Ferdinand. That is the nest that we are going to try to get a camera set up on, or we have gotten the camera set up on, I should say. We're working on getting it set up to the live streaming service with Explore, but that chick is 1315. And these are some awesome photos of the little fluff ball. That chick is super active in the nest, and like the past couple times we've been there has just been hopping around nonstop with those little floofy wings flapping around. It's so entertaining. That cavity is pretty deep, kind of similar to the 470 962 nest that we showed. So it's hard to see the parents and the chick when they're like way down at the bottom. But as you can see in these photos, the chick is big enough now that we're starting to see its head and wings pop up above the edge of the cavity. So it's been such a treat to see that chick. Like I said, just very active, just seems like a very happy, flappy chick, which is always exciting to see. And we're really hoping to get that Nest camera going soon so that you all will also get the chance to see that chick live and watch it as it grows.
Yeah, and Meredith got some great footage, right? So I think I have a video that she just gave me. Yeah, here we go. Optimize. Yeah, that's a great video. Another incredible video.
Yeah, shout out to Meredith for hiking up there and capturing that footage. That was awesome.
Yeah, and so Danae, you were mentioning it. Kara and I were able to get up there, and we've been staging equipment for this cam. This was originally, we didn't do this in response to the other Nest failing. We were planning to do this cam from the beginning. It's just been a little more challenging. It's a little more remote. We weren't sure we were going to be able to link the signal to our setup that we have up there. And then we finally figured out that we can, and it just took a little bit of time. Plus we had all the vaccinations and HPAI and everything else going on. So it kind of fell to the wayside. And then we realized we had everything up there that we needed. We got the link to a critical link established, and Explore confirmed it is linked. So now, like I'd said earlier, we're just waiting on Explore to line it up and get it streaming. So we're pretty excited. It's going to be a little further out than Redwood Queen's cam, but it will have a good view, but it won't be as closed in, is our guess. We honestly don't know yet, but it's a little bit further away than that Nest. And it has a nice little downward angle. We should still be able to see kind of like at Redwood Queen's Nest, see down in and see like we saw Aurora. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We're excited to see. Obviously, it's nice to have this monitoring tool, because anytime we're up there, the birds know we're there. So it's nice not to have to disturb them and be able to monitor remotely, and again, use technology to our advantage to help the birds. So yeah, so we're excited to see how this pans out. So stay tuned. We'll definitely do a social media release. For those that are regular Explore folks, you'll probably find it. You'll be the first ones to find it streaming. You guys are usually really on it. And again, yeah, we're just excited to share these nest sites with everyone, with the world, so everyone can take a view into the condor life, seeing how they raise their young. And I love this photo. Me and Danae were laughing about it earlier. We call it the rabbit ears. The chick's wings look like a pair of rabbit ears sticking out of the nest. But yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, and they've this is really exciting too, because they've used this nest before, and but they haven't actually fledged young successfully from it. So we're all pulling for them, and so if we can get a cam to watch it all unfold, that would be pretty awesome. And yeah, this is kind of what I'm expecting the view to be like from the cam, maybe a little further out. So yeah, we're excited to get that online. So again, just stay tuned in, and we'll let you know when we got it going. Again, we got just merch on our store. Check out our Ventana ws.org/store. We've got some really cool Condor nesting season themed stickers. They're really cool. Everyone really likes them, so go check them out. And of course, we have other merch on there, t-shirts, hats, lots of cool stuff. And really exciting news, and Kelly can jump in here too. We have a new exhibit about to go on display, and it will be unveiled on July 13th. This is at our Discovery Center down in Big Sur at Andrew Malera State Park. And yeah, it's free to attend. You know, we'll have refreshments, learn about condors, bald eagles, and there'll be BWS staff there. We'll have some state park folks, officials there. And then, of course, you can meet the amazing artist and illustrator that did the exhibit artwork, Jessica French. And it is pretty amazing. I've seen it, and we can't wait to share it with all of you. So if those in the area are in the area, please come on down and check it out. It'd be an exciting day. And we've been working on this for a few years, so it's nice to see it come to fruition. Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to our very own Mike State for writing the content of the exhibit, and Kathy Hamilton for designing it. So the whole project was done in-house, and a huge thanks to Jessica French for her illustrations, because that really kicked off the project. We felt like it would be a wonderful opportunity to incorporate her work, and sure enough, it was. And I can't wait to see her again on July 13th. Also, keep in mind the Discovery Center is open on weekends and holidays from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So it is open on weekends all summer long. So if you can't make it to the open house, but you can make it to Big Sur on another weekend, you could come by and see it then.
Yeah, and I don't know, Mike, how much time we have for questions. We kind of went over a little bit today, but
yeah, we went we're out of time, but we did cover a lot of ground in the chat, and also you answered a lot of questions already. I'm sorry for the couple that for the few questions that we just don't have time for now. Maybe next time. I'm looking forward to July. You know, July 25th, our next Condor chat. July 13th, Saturday the 13th. If you're in the area, we'd love to see you at the Discovery Center. I'll be there. I'm excited, and it's going
I think it'd be a great day.
It's going to be a great month, and I'll just throw it right back to you, Joe, to take us home.
Yeah, and yeah, next Condor chat, and this photo is pretty great. This is our untagged chick that's still out there. It's top of our trap list. It's been eluding the trap, but still cool to see an untagged bird out there flying around, I have to say. But we will eventually tag you, bird. But yeah, it's yeah, we'll keep you posted. Wish us luck next month. We're gonna get another round of birds for HPAI vaccinations, and we're just hoping for low lead scores with those birds. And you know, just wishing these birds that are nesting the best of luck. And yeah, our hearts go out to Aurora. She gave it that bird gave it a good run, but we got lots of other nests out there. We got 10 chicks. We still are on track for a record year. So yeah, a lot to be thankful for. So thanks everybody. Kelly, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, I just want to also thank everybody for your donations and support, and even just you know, the thank you for all that you do, comments, things like that. That really recharges our batteries and keeps us going. So just want to thank everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks Darren. Thanks today. Thanks Mike.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.
All right.
See you
See you next
month.
time.
Thanks, guys. See ya.